Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are listening to Newcastle Fast FM, and this is the Hype Youth Show. And today we're going to be talking about standing out from the crowd. And on today's show, we have a very special guest, Ustadh Muawiyah Tucker. Now, Ustadh Muawiyah is a graduate of the Islamic University of Medina, and we really appreciate him coming onto the Hype Show and spending his time. Please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Muawiyah Tucker, as you've previously mentioned, and I am graduated from the Islamic University of Medina in 2008 from the Faculty of Islamic Law. Before that, I accepted Islam in 1998, I think, or 97, 98 or 97. And I subsequently got accepted to study in Saudi Arabia in 2001. So it's been a long journey, and I've been Muslim now for more than 20 years. So interestingly enough, I've been Muslim longer than I wasn't, because I became Muslim when I was about 17 or 18. So great.
Yeah, mashallah. So I'm also joined by my co-host, Hussam. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you as well.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Hussam. I'm 19 years old. Obviously, I finished college now, so I do apprenticeship welding in Felon. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, very good. Ismail, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ismail. I'm 12 years old. And yeah.
12 years old and? Don't be shy, don't be shy.
And I go Kenton.
Okay.
You go
So
Kenton,
he's
okay,
12 years
mashallah.
old and he goes Kenton. Adil and Awaz, please introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit more about you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Awab Ahmed. I was born in the UK. I'm 14 years old and I go to Benfield School.
Adil?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Adil Ahmed. I'm 13 years old. I go to Benfield School and I was born in the UK.
Nice. Well, I'm Ishaaq Sayid, your host, and I was born in the UK, but I originate from Zanzibar. I'm 17 years old, and I'm currently doing double award engineering in A level. So,
MashaAllah, engineering, that sounds good,
it is. So, we are currently in our second week of our 12-week course, and last week we were talking about knowing yourself by knowing your deen. Can any of you tell us what we talked about last week?
We talked about identity.
Yeah, good.
And we also talked about what it means to be a Muslim.
Adil, so we talked about what it means to be a Muslim. What does it mean to be a Muslim?
To follow the 5 pillars of Islam, pray 5 times a day, give zakah, go to Hajj, fast the 30 days.
Good. Good answer. Now, what else did we talk about yesterday? I mean, last week.
They've said it all.
Okay, then. Well, today we're talking about standing out from the crowd. Now, in history, there's been a lot of people who stand out from the crowd, and I'd like you to give me an example of someone who stood out from the crowd and like when they've done it or how they did it. So, Adam, can you think of anyone from history? It could be anyone at all that stood out from the crowd and how they did it. Could be anyone. If you're stuck, maybe someone else can help us out.
The Prophet.
Ismail, go on, carry on.
Yeah. The Prophet Muhammad, he stood out from the crowd because at that time he was the only Muslim there, and he had to like represent this new religion that people haven't heard of.
Good. So he stood out from the crowd because he was the only Muslim, and it was his job, it was his responsibility to spread the word of Allah to all the non-believers. That was good. Ustadh Muawiyah, can you think of anyone who's stood out from the crowd?
Yeah, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. When it comes to standing out from the crowd, this is a very, very important part of Al-Islam and of all religions, because the general rule is that mankind tends and leans towards shirk, idolatry, and sin and transgression. It's unusual to find people gravitating towards Tawheed, monotheism, but it can happen. And we find the first most significant person to stand out from the crowd that became a historical and religious icon for that is Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam was the only one, you could say, him and his wife, who were upon Islam. He was against his father, he was against his people, he was against everybody. And on top of that, Ibrahim, Allah mentioned he was Hanif. Hanif refers to standing out from or leaning towards, or a male or a leaning towards one direction. So everyone's going this way towards the destruction, whereas Ibrahim Mala, he leaned away from the norm. And this is essentially why Islam emulates Ibrahim, because every Muslim, by their definition, stands out from those around them. Especially us in the UK, we have to stand out from those around us. There's no way that you can really be a strong and firm Muslim and at the same time want to conform. Conformity is almost like the oxymoron of Islam when it comes to what most people want to do. Now, don't get me wrong, we do have levels of conformity to Islam, but when it comes to like us in the UK, if you have a problem with going against the grain, then you would definitely have a problem with your Islam, generally speaking. I mean, that's just something. I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, brother, but that was a long answer there, wasn't it?
Yeah. So very good, alhamdulillah. Thank you for that, Ustadh. Then, Hussam, can you think of anyone who stood out from the crowd?
I can't think of anyone really.
Okay, well, I've got a few. So obviously, most of the prophets stood out because they had to bring this new revelation or give this new message to people who aren't of belief. And I've also got three names here. I've got Umar radiallahu anhu, Hamza, and Az-Zubair ibn al-Awam. These were three people who, at the time before the Hijrah, they announced their hijrah while most of the other companions did theirs in secret. They went to the Quraysh and they told them, I'm going to make hijrah. If you want to stop me, come stop me. And these were people who were really strong in their belief, which was why they could do that. So we're also going to talk about, we've also got here that a lot of the times people stand out from the crowd, and it could be a good thing, but also could be a bad thing. Awad, have you got any idea of how it could be a good thing to stand out and how it could be a bad thing?
It could be a good thing because I don't know.
Okay. Adil, have you got any idea of how it could be a bad thing or a good thing?
I don't know either.
Ismail.
It could be a bad thing because you could be trying to show off, and when people show off, you could just stand out.
Yeah, that's a good answer. So sometimes when we become really good at something, we stand out from the crowd, and that could be a means for us to start showing off. You might have started off wanting good from it, but you could eventually end up showing off because of the fame that you got. Hussam, have you got any ideas of what could be a good thing or a bad thing?
Um, I don't know, like jealousy. Really, people can be like jealous. You know, the way you stand out as well.
Yeah, so you could be standing out for something really good, but then people could be jealous of you for that, which is obviously a bad thing. Staff Muawiyah, it seems like the boys are stuck. Could you give us a hand and help us out?
So, I mean, for the youth of today, one of the benefits of standing out, which is very important, is um, allowing an individual to fully embody his character and his self-worth. That's the key word here, self-worth. For example, if everyone is moving in this direction and Islam tells you to move in that direction, what would cause you to go against what your friends are doing and do what Islam told you to do? That's strong character. If you believe in yourself and you believe that you're following the right way, then there should be no reason why you shouldn't want to follow Islam. Whereas if you're someone who has a weak character, when I say weak, as in you're not too sure of yourself, you're not too sure what you should be doing, not too sure what is right and wrong, you're not too sure, and also if you're the kind of person that you want self-validation, meaning that you want people to like you in order for you to be um, worth anything. As in, if you think the only way for you to be a good person or a cool person or a respectable person is to conform, then again you've misunderstood the true criterion of what is right and wrong. In order for you to um, have a good, strong character. I say strong character meaning that when you know something's right, you go to what is right. You know something is wrong, you go to what is, you say what is wrong. Only way to really do so is to recognize that the only way you would truly attain righteousness and a greater status in Allah's eyes and in the hereafter is by obedience to Allah, obedience to Al-Islam. So yes, standing out from the crowd is very, very important because um, if you don't stand out against the crowd, what happens? What happens if the crowd does something evil? Are we going to do evil along with them? What happens if the crowd, for example, imagine if everyone in your workplace is racist or says a racist joke. Are you strong enough to say that's wrong? If one of your employees, so if one of your staff members that you work with is being oppressed and harmed by everyone else, are you strong enough to say don't do that? It's wrong. So it takes a strong character to stand up against the crowd and say, no, I don't agree. Stop this. It's wrong. And unless we have that in ourselves, then how can we really order the good and forbid the evil? Because ordering good and forbidding evil basically means you've recognized that everyone's doing evil and you're going to say, don't do the evil, do the good. So yeah, there's a lot to be said, but that's one of the benefits of standing up in the crowd, having strong character and being brave. Everyone wants to be brave, don't you? Are you guys brave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of you guys are shy. You're here on the camera. You're not shying away from the
Nah.
camera. You're bold. Say you're brave. So being brave and bold is saying, I don't agree. What you're saying is wrong. Sorry, mate. And that's it.
Yeah, that was very good. So what advice would you give to someone who's a bit shy and who's scared of standing out from the crowd?
So for me, when I was growing up, there was a moment in time when I wanted to conform. Growing up myself, there was a moment where I wanted to be like everyone else and do what everyone else done. When I was in secondary school, only when I went to college, I realized it was just it's a game that was no point playing. But when I was in secondary school, I did want to conform. I guess most people do when they're puberty, the age. I mean, at your age is most of you guys wanna do what everyone else does. You wanna be the funny one that everyone laughs with, or you wanna be you wanna be the cool guy in the middle. Um, but then I realized that in the long run, 5 years time, 10 years time, 20 years time, 30 years time, 40 years time, nothing that happens right now in my classroom will matter. I mean, if someone so likes you or doesn't like you has nothing, has no bearing on your life. It won't improve your life, won't harm your life. It's just nothing, zero. And when you come to a realization that what they think of you means nothing, the only thing that really matters is what is your status with Allah? What is your status with Allah? Only when you that's the only way we can release the shackles. That when you stop caring what people think about you, and you only care what Allah thinks about you, or how your status is with Allah. That's one of the biggest things to help you. If you can't get out of that, then you're stuck. You're stuck.
So what we've got to be trying to do is keep remembering who we're here for. We're here for Allah. We're not here for the people. Allah.
Exactly.
I'm sure that the Prophet said that we should always try and like bring our actions with intention for Allah and not for the people.
Exactly
So,
that. Yeah.
Hussam, why do you
Yeah.
think we stand out as Muslims, and how do we stand out as Muslims, and what could we do again to feel comfortable with us standing out?
Us standing out as Muslims, it shows like we're confident like that because like some people like when they see us as Muslims, they think oh these guys are like bad or something, they're gonna like hate us or something. But like as soon as we show them like the good deeds of Muslims, like how we do and how we help people, like with charity, then the people recognize Muslims are a good religion, it's not a bad religion, you know they follow our God, we pray 5 times a day. So we could help that by organizing like an event, or to share on Facebook or anything to show people how Muslims are and how we do.
So yeah, the way we live our lives can change the perspectives of the people around us. They might think of Islam in a negative way, but if we act opposite to the way that they're thinking, we can change their mind about Islam, which is very good. Yeah, Ismail, why do you think Muslims stand out in particular, and how do we stand out?
We set an example. So yeah, when you set an example, when you do something good, and you're representing Islam, they look and they'd see and they'd like, yeah. And if they say it again and again, then they know it's not just that one person, it's the religion that's sort of making this person do all this good stuff.
Yeah, so if they see lots of different people doing the same sort of act and same sort of having the same sorts of behaviors of being polite and just being generally a good person, then they'll notice that this isn't just because from that one person. This has to be like from something higher. If that makes sense. So I'm gonna we have the technical difficulties, you see. But
Yeah.
we were just talking about why we stand out as Muslims and how we stand out. So do
Oh,
you guys have an idea of why we stand out? And what is it that separates us Muslims and us non-believers?
we stand out as Muslims because
So why do Muslims stand out in particular? Like why do Muslims stand out differently to non-believers? Did you
cause,
get?
because they have different beliefs.
Okay, could you expand on that?
Because if you're a Muslim, you believe in Islam, and if you're another religion, you might believe in something else. So you might have different thoughts.
Okay, so you look at life differently because you believe in a different religion.
Yeah.
Good. So, do you guys know what the male hijab is? What does it include? Ismail?
It's
What is the male hijab?
From your knees to from your knees to your belly button, you have to cover.
Okay, so you're talking about your aura, where you have to cover. That's good, yeah. Husam, have you got any idea of what the male hijab is? Because we know there's a female hijab. What is the male hijab?
Um, I don't know. It covers like like your body and and it covers your legs as well.
Okay. Ustadh Muawiyah, it seems like they're stuck again. Maybe you could help us out here. What is the male hijab?
So with regards to the male hijab, if you're talking literally, as in the male covering, then a man should cover what's between his navel and his knee. But you can also look at a hijab in a more metaphorical sense, in the sense of what should a man cover, which is in that case it would be his failings, his shortcomings, his sins, and bad character. He should cover those things from the people, and he tried to address them privately on himself. But as for like a physical hijab, and we don't wear hijab like women wear hijab, because women have to cover their body from other people. A man, the maximum, or I should say the part which he must cover is what's between his navel and his knee. But at the same time, that also includes not dressing in a manner that entices other people. So imagine he's very muscular, he's got loads of muscles all over the place and whatnot. Although he can have, for example, his arms showing, if he's gonna cause fitna for women look at him and think, oh, look at his arms, he's got big arms, mashallah, look at that strong guy, and start talking and start talking about this guy's muscles. Then maybe he should cover himself and dress in a way which doesn't cause problems for other people. You know what I mean? And especially in terms of showing off, you shouldn't really show off. I mean, if you've got muscles, that's great, but it's only to make other people without muscles feel bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you go to your friends and say, look at this, look at this. What have you got? What have you got? You got nothing. That kind of stuff. We don't do this, do that kind of stuff as Muslims. We try our best to encourage people to be good, and as for making people feel bad, then that's not what we do.
Right, yeah. So thank me for that again. Shukran jazakallah khair for the advice. So yeah, what I've got here is that we shouldn't dress with clothing that is too tight, so that it like shows like how masculine and like how muscly and how how physically fit we are. And we should also lower the gaze a lot, because if and we see this sometimes at Hype when we're with the sisters, we have an event sometimes with Hype or youth camp, and sometimes a sister might walk past, and now what the brothers should do is we should lower our gaze, we should look down at the floor so we don't uh, expose their haya. So yeah, um, what do you guys think about social media, and what sort of role does it play on the lives of the youth of today?
Well, people are scared to show that they're Muslim on social media, so they could like be hiding. So they could like some people are scared of showing they're Muslim on social media. They could be hiding the fact that they're Muslim.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people hide their Islam?
Because Islamophobia, and they don't want people to think this guy's a Muslim, he's a terrorist, and stuff like that.
Okay, Hussam, have you got any idea of why people uh, would hide their Islam, or what do you think about social media?
They'll probably hide it because like they don't want to show themselves like on live like that. They're probably scared, not confident. And I think some of social media is not good. There's good parts, there's bad parts, but like if you want to go on live on social media, just like show yourself. Don't be scared and say what religion you are.
Okay, Adil and Awad. Start with Adil. What do you think about social media, and what sort of role does it play on the youth of today?
Sometimes it's good, then sometimes it's bad. Because like sometimes people are scared, but people are gonna react badly if they know about the Muslims. Like people think if they're not Muslims, they're not gonna get that much popular on like social media. But if they act like they're not Muslims, like they're gonna get more popular. And after more people will like follow them.
Okay, good. So some people are insecure about showing that they're Muslim that because they're scared that people will think that like they won't want to be his like mates and he won't get popular. Why do you think some people hide their Islam, and what do you think about social media?
Um, in social media, some people hide their identity. They're scared to show their religion. And
Okay,
also, what I think about social media, that um, people are become bad.
okay. What sort of role does it play on the youth of today?
Um, good.
I don't think you understand. Like, what does social media do to the youth of today?
Do um, I don't know.
Okay. Well, maybe Ustadh Muawiyah could help you out here.
In regards to social media, I think what we need to do is analyze what is it. Surely, people say social media is good. People say social media is bad. There's good in it. There's bad in it. But what exactly is it? Think about it this way. You guys go to schools, so you've been in the playground. You've spoken to your friends. You play football. You do that kind of stuff. You gossip. You talk. You cuss each other off, and you do stuff in your playground. And social media is essentially an internet version of the playground, but with one main difference, and that is a level of anonymity. You can do things anonymously, and that adds a different dimension to that interaction. So in the playground, you don't say things and do things without recognizing that at some level, your friends are going to know you did it, and they're going to either support you in it, say, yeah, you did it, great, or they're going to rebuke you and say, oh, that guy's an idiot, what is it up for? Or you're going to be embarrassed or something. So in a playground environment, there's some level of accountability. You're accountable for what you actually do. Whereas on social media, you can do all sorts and no one would really know. And that's one of the things about social media that makes social media very different. There are levels of accountability that has been removed from the process. So what ends up happening is that in the playground or in your work environment or in the classroom or even at home or in your family, you have things in your head that you think about, but you don't say because you've kept that inside for whatever reason. Well, a good reason maybe, or a bad reason, whatever the case may be. But you've kept those thoughts and ideas to yourself, and you haven't spoken on it. But on social media, you can actually go to someone and say bad things to them, share inappropriate pictures, troll them. You could also say all sorts of things to them, and all you have to do is close that account, make a new one, and you're back and you're fresh again. So social media actually allows random thoughts and ideas that are normally in your head and normally be suppressed by yourself to come out. So what that means is that when a person uses social media, they now need to do two things extra that you wouldn't normally do in the real world. The first thing is self-restraint to a higher degree than normal. So if I'm in the social environment, I would restrain myself by the fact of shame. I feel shame, I feel embarrassed to say this and do this, so I won't do it publicly. So for example, maybe I might see a sister, I might be attracted to the sister, but because I know if I say anything to her, brother's going to be like, brother, what are you talking to sisters for? That's wrong, stuff for Allah. You'd be like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. Where social media, you can DM someone and no one would know. And that allows that level of you need to now exercise more self-restraint than normal. And the second thing that social media exposes that is not normal in the real world is the self-restraint of others. So the message of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever has no shame, then do as he wishes. That's actually very important what the message of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. If whoever has no shame, then do as he wish. Because the message of Allah acknowledges and teaches us that if we have some self-respect and some shame, we don't want people to say bad things about us, then we won't do a lot of things. But the moment we remove that accountability from us, then people will do what they wish. And obviously that's wrong, and something we shouldn't do. And secondly is yes, and we're exposed to other people's lack of self-restraint. So we would hear things from people that they wouldn't say to you to your face. We would see people do things they wouldn't ever see them do in the real world, and that's actually a very common meme, you could say, or a common joke, where someone behind the keyboard, they're called keyboard warriors. Behind the keyboard, they say this, that, and the other, and they're very brave and blazing about what they want to say. But when you meet them, they're all shy and timid, don't say anything, because that's the reality of social media. So basically, that's I would say that's the only real thing that's really different about social media or social platforms, is that it allows a person to do, say, and be whatever without real accountability. So I wouldn't say that it's the social media itself or the socializing is a problem. It's the fact that it's that level of accountability. Anyway, that was just basically it.
Okay, so thank you for that again. Jazakallah khair. I've got a comment from YouTube and from Shara Ahmed, and she says that sometimes social media is bad, and yeah, it is bad. So
Well, I would say about that is that, like I said, because of that lack of accountability, it allows people to act bad. But what I find from my own experience is that they're only acting the way they are. And this is why it's important for you guys to correct who you are, so that whether you're on social media or in private sitting or in public sitting, you behave the same. The problem is that when people come out on social media and act a certain way in social media, all that's really happening is that the hidden is becoming exposed, because they can hide behind a veil of anonymity. They can hide behind a veil and say things about you know who it is. But so I won't blame social media. I'll blame it society. If everyone was righteous, like Abu Bakr and Umar, then social media would do nothing extra. It would just mean we would convert, we would do dhikr together, like we're doing dhikr right now. We would come together and we would share our thoughts, we would worship Allah, and we would do all sorts of good things socially. But it's because when people become corrupt, and then you have social media, then it just spreads the corruption. So I don't blame social media. I blame the corruption of the people, and social media is just an avenue for them to bring that. Any other questions on Facebook?
no,
Anything like that?
I don't think so. So, Ustadh Muawiyah, what sort of role do you think it would play on the youth of today?
So yeah, on the youth of today, what happens normally in playgrounds and social gatherings gets magnified on social media. So when, like, we all know, like you said, when maybe you do an event and there might be girls there, maybe some brothers might start flexing without unconsciously, because they want to be acknowledged by women. Now magnify that by the world, by the internet. That's when people start sharing odd videos about them doing push-ups and whatnot. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It just allows for that reach to be further. You can actually do a lot more on social media than you could do in a setting. In this room here, I can only show off to those right here. On social media, I'm showing off to the whole world, and that's kind of the appeal, and that's kind of the danger as well. So therefore, if I did a sin in front of you, then I'm only affecting you only. But if I did a sin on social media, I'm now doing a sin in front of everybody. So now the sin is magnified how many fold. So it's significant for the youth when the youth really want to start showing up and act in a certain way. But they need to manage that and not engage in that. Like I said to you, the cure is what I said a minute ago. The moment you stop caring what other people think about you, as the moment when you become free from the shackles of social acceptance. Be free of that, Ikhwan. Be free. Be free, children, from social acceptance, and only worry about your deeds being accepted by Allah.
So we got another comment on YouTube and from Da'wah Motivation. It says, with good mentoring and guidance, I would really love to see young brothers to get involved in the Da'wah. We need youth like you. This way you'll protect yourself and guide others. What do you think? I'd say go ahead with it.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I would like to say though about the issue of da'wah is that, especially with the youth, like I said, I'm trying to address this point from the angle that youth naturally gravitate towards public display, as they want to display to the world that they are so great, that they are attractive, that they are strong, that they are intelligent, that they are. And without the correct tarbiyah, and I'm talking about without the correct emotional and spiritual cultivation, even if you do da'wah, that will be a problem. Because what will happen is that sometimes the youth, when they get involved in da'wah, it just becomes another form of public display. So it's less a form of sincerity, but more of a form of, I am great at something, or I'm showing off, or blah blah. And I think that's another danger we need to be very aware of and be very careful about. So when you give da'wah, we give da'wah to Allah for sincerity. So my point is, before any of you give da'wah, you need to focus on yourself and nurturing your soul and building that relationship between you and Allah, so that when you do give da'wah, you are doing so because you really want to invite someone to that better way, and you're not just debating a Christian because you want to defeat them and show them how Islam is better than them, and that you can just punch them up verbally with verses of the Quran and logic, which can happen very easily with the youth. So yes, get involved in da'wah, no doubt, but more importantly, give the da'wah to yourself in your own personal development and character. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hassan, that makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Because I'll be honest with you, when I was very young, when I first became Muslim, there were moments when I thought to myself, am I debating this person because I want them to become Muslim, or am I debating this person to make him look like a fool? It can happen. It can happen, can't it? And this is where you need to be. Sincerity is very, very important, and that's why you should always try whatever you give da'wah to, do it yourself. That's how you give da'wah. Live the life. Live the life, guys. Live the life.
So
When you brush your teeth, do you start from the right hand side or the left hand side?
Start in the middle.
It's a genuine question. When you brush your teeth, do you start from the left hand side or the right hand side, or any side?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Exactly. So live the life. The Messenger likes to prefer the right in all things. So start with the right hand side before you do the left hand side. My point is, we embody Islam in everything, not just da'wah on the streets, but even the brushing of your teeth. I start with the right because the right is better than the left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you eat your food, you start on the right hand side of the plate before the left hand side of the plate. Something as small as this. The reason why these small things are important, because these small things, you can't show off with them. It makes sense. You don't say, look guys, I'm doing the right hand side. You can't show off that stuff. But these small things means a lot. I mean, I can say, yeah, I did Hajj, yeah, I did Umrah. Look at me, I'm so great. Look, Mom, I did like Taraweeh the whole Ramadan. That's great. That's the big things. But I'm talking about the small things that's between you and Allah that no one knows about. You can develop those things as well.
So, Ustadh Muawiyah, what sort of advice would you give to the youth who are whose intentions aren't on the right like path. They aren't for Allah. They are for the people. What sort of advice would you give that person?
See, intentions is like a rainbow. Well, not rainbow, but it's like a various shades of a color. You could be a complete 100% mura'i, and a mura'i means a person who's doing something to show off. You could be 100% mura'i, and that's something intentional and that's something serious. If a person actually goes and prays just so someone can see, they're waiting for him to see, he's looking. Oh, Allah Akbar, now he's looking. If that's what a person's doing, then that is shirkun billah, and they should fear Allah and stay far away from that kind of nonsense. But if they're praying to Allah, but in their mind, people come into their head, maybe they want to start reciting Maghrib or Isha, and they think, okay, I'm going to pray now. Should I do this surah because people are behind me listening? That's something. That's something different. That's a constant, ongoing struggle that a person has. And just because you're young or old, it's not something you can ever free yourself from. It's always Shaitan's always going to come to you and say, "Oh, look, someone's looking at you. Maybe recite longer. Maybe you can do this, or maybe you can." It's always going to be there. So you just struggle. It's an ongoing struggle. But if it's an obvious one, like for example, it's time to pray, and you're not praying. As soon as your mum comes in, you start praying to make sure that she knows that you're praying. Then that's something you should stop. Be real, guys. Be real. Don't be mura'i. Pray because you're supposed to pray. Be good because you're supposed to be good. Be righteous because that's what you're supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. So, Hussam, what advice would you give to a youth who is not happy about themselves because of social media?
Obviously, if a person's not happy about social media, then what's the point them having an account on social media? Because if they don't like it, they'll probably make bad comments. Tell their friends, "Oh, social media is not good. Don't use it. It's gonna affect your life. Uh, it's gonna ruin his life and other people who he knows as well."
What about you,
Can I,
Ismail?
can I just add something here on that on what Hassan mentioned about making bad comments and whatnot? Remember, just a second ago, I said be good because it's good to be good. See, this is what I'm saying about social media. If there was an opportunity to troll someone really badly, like really, like properly troll him, and make everyone laugh at him, whatnot, but you knew deep down in your soul that it's wrong to do so. It's going to get offended. It's going to get upset. Islam doesn't like so, and you think it's evil to do that, then you won't do that. It doesn't matter what social media, how convenient it is. You won't do that. That's what I'm saying to you. It's not social media per se. It's you. If you have it in you to do such things, then you will do so. Social media is just a platform to do so. But if you in your heart see evil and you say, Astaghfirullah, I don't want to see that. Oh my days, what is that nonsense? Stop that. Then that is where you want to get to, and that's why I'm saying it's an internal thing. And this is very important because you can't just say avoid social media. Come on, man. We live in 2020. Everything's social. People get jobs by social media. People get fired by social media. Everything happens by social media. You can't avoid it, and it's only going to get worse. The thing is, the only way to really navigate this new paradigm is to make you yourself a better version of yourself. And that's especially for the youth who have eyes, the youth who have eyes and love to look at things, boys who love to look at see things. If you believe in your mind and in your heart and in your iman that seeing certain things is just disgusting, then when it comes in your face, you would turn away. For example, if you see it on the street, you would turn away. You say stuff for that. You won't have to force yourself to look down and really you kind of like looking up. You won't have to force yourself. It'll be a natural thing. So like I said, the most important thing for you guys to do is to make Islam in your hearts, not just on your limbs. That'll be my biggest statement to you. Make Islam in your hearts, not just on your limbs. Hate kufr because kufr is something you hate. Hate shirk because shirk is evil and nasty. Hate all that madness because it is bad. Don't just hate it because your friends say so.
Inshallah, we'll all work on that and become better as Muslims.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Adil and Awad, what does it mean to have Muslim character?
It means that you're a good person.
Expand on that. What do you mean, good person? Because a non-Muslim could be a good person,
It means that
but does he still have the Muslim characteristics?
because he might come from a good family.
Okay, so what do you mean by having good like characteristics? Give me examples of good characteristics.
Praying 5 times a day.
Okay. Anything else?
Being respectful to your parents.
Yeah, that's a good one. Be respectful to parents. Which is
Giving
keep going.
Giving sadaqah.
Okay, giving charity. Yeah, good.
Yeah. Trying to go to Hajj if you have the money.
Yeah. Okay, you've
Um,
given me quite a few there. I want Adil to give me some as well. Any good Muslim characteristics, traits, qualities.
Helping each other, being kind to each other. Like if someone
Yeah.
needs your help, you should help them. Being kind.
Good. Ismail.
Supporting other people through their struggles.
Good.
I don't know. That's it.
Ustadh Muawiyah, can you think of anything that would like make us better as Muslims and give us a stronger Muslim character?
One simple hadith, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, where he said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. None of you will truly believe until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. That is one of the most simplest forms and criteria to determine what is right and what is wrong and how to develop your Muslim character in all your dealings with the people. If you want to do a transaction or a business, just ask yourself a simple question. How would you feel if you were on the receiving end? If you're on the other end, how would you feel? How would you feel? If you're doing a business transaction and you want to buy this item, what would be a fair price to you? If someone was to comment on your post, what kind of comment would you like? These being to others how you like to be, how you want others to be to you. That is literally the single most important advice that a person can give to the youth of the Muslimin. And finally, the other side of that, the balance to that, where Allah said in the Quran, لا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. Don't let the evil transgressions of the people cause you to do or be unjust. Be just, it is closer to taqwa. It doesn't matter if someone is bad to you, you be good to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So those two things: be good to others as you want others to be good to you, and don't oppress people just because they oppress you. Be nice to them, even if they're bad to you.
Thank you for that again, Jazakallah khair. So Adil, Awad, Hussam, in social media and even in everyday life, there are some things which the youth can face nowadays which are very common but are forbidden in Islam. Can you give me any sort of actions or things that the youth can face today?
Question again, please.
In nowadays life, there's a lot of things which youth can face which are very common and they'll see it on their everyday basis, but they are forbidden in Islam and they might feel tempted to do so. But because we are Muslims, we stand out from the crowd. What are some of those things?
Being confident.
No, give me examples of things which are forbidden in Islam, which you can see, uh, like nearly everywhere you go, but like you don't do it because it's forbidden. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, give me just an example of a few things. Ismail, you go.
Smoking. A lot
Okay.
of people smoke, and I avoid it.
Yeah, so you might see in school that there's some people smoking, and you might see that on an everyday basis, but because you're a Muslim, you know that it's forbidden in Islam. Hussam, have you got anything? I know you've lived longer than these, so you know your experience.
Obviously, obviously on a life daily basis, people like to fight, argument, drinking, stealing from shops, and obviously I see that daily basis. Obviously, where I live in Baika, it's like people get arrested nearly every day, and then like they just go to the police station. That's it.
Yeah, so you've seen a lot of things from stealing in shops, partying, and drinking, and smoking, and just a lot of things. And you know that as a Muslim, you have taqwa, and you know that that I can't join in this thing because it is haram for me. I
Yeah.
don't know. Can you give me just two?
Um, like pubs, like we never go in them. We like haram place, like people drink in there, people smoke in there, and they do bad stuff in there.
Discourse.
Good answers. Brother Muawiyah, how can we as youth uh, avoid this peer pressure?
Get married. See, often people, the solutions that Islam gives us, when I mention it to people, you see the reaction. People are like, "Nah, that's not right, man. Come on, there must be another solution than that, man." But um, the problem is, we live in a society whereby the only way that is presented to us are haram ways, and the ways that are halal are often unknown, or they're perceived to be unattainable or unrealistic. And that's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that when people think that the halal is all the way over there, it's somewhere far, far, far away, and the haram is just something right here, right now. This is the problem. This is Islam's over there, brother. I'm over here. Islam's already over there. And the best way to combat this is to bring this over here, psychologically and practically speaking. So yeah, I mean, for example, all the youth to want money. I mean, that's probably why a lot of youth do crime, because what money spend and get stuff they want. To earn it halal is over there. To earn it quick is just here, and that's a lot of the almost anything you want to do when it comes to women, clothes, anything. It's just that it's this. What I want, the good way, is all the way over there. It's too far. And the easy way is just to get it right here. And I think probably you could say that the easiest cure to that is to remove this fallacy, this false idea that something should be earned easily. You have to earn things in the Quran. You have to go out there and work hard. If you want to get married, work hard. If you want money, go work hard. Anything you want, you have to learn to just work hard for it. And anytime you want to take shortcuts, just because it's there, irregardless of it's halal or haram, if that's how your mindset, that's a problem. This is when you start fixing the mind. No one gets these things for free. Speak to your parents. All of you, go home now. Speak to your mum and dad. Ask them about their friends when they were at school who had everything and through crime. Ask them where they are now. I guarantee you, all of them will say the same thing. They're either dead, in prison, or they stopped. It's not sustainable. It's like fireworks. Bang, colorful, and then it disappears.
So we need to change our mentality, is what you're saying, and stop being lazy and going for shortcuts. And what we have to be
I, I
doing.
don't I don't I don't think it's lazy, by the way. It's not. Don't think of it like, yeah, whoever does this is lazy. It's not lazy. Some of the reasons. Let me give you an example. Some of the reasons why the youth do haram is for perfectly valid, reasonable reasons. So why does someone go and sell drugs to make money? Because that's it. Want money. Why can't I get a job? Because I have to work loads of hours to get that same amount of money. That's not irrational. That's very rational. Is that irrational, everyone? All I have to do, carry this bag or whatever, give it to that guy. I get 500 quid in my hands. I mean, it's straightforward, isn't it? Is that irrational? That's not irrational. They're not being stupid. But my point is this: the society we live in has made the haram so easy and so attainable, and made the halal so difficult and far away. So it's not that kids and youth are being unreasonable, it's that the society is making it unreasonable to be Muslim. I mean, if you want to get married, if you want to get married now, come on, you guys. Let me see the name here. We got Ismail Sayid. Is that you, yeah? With the glasses.
No, I'm Ishaaq.
Yeah, Ishaaq. Okay, Ishaaq. If you want to get married right now, what do you have to do? Tell me the steps. Well, you want to get married right now? Come on, tell me the steps. It's the first thing.
Find a suitable wife.
Find a wife. Then what? Then what?
Get the dowry.
Get the dowry. Then what?
Set up the marriage place and getting the car papers and stuff like that.
Okay. And then what? Okay, now you got married to her. Then what? I mean, is that all? She's just got married like that? No. You have to do anything else? Just find a woman, get a dowry, and do the nikah. Is that it?
No, you gotta live with that, and
Yeah, but I'm saying you gotta get a job.
Yeah.
Don't forget a job. You gotta get qualifications to get a job, which is what you're doing. You're in school. You have to get some experience to get a good paid job. So you can see each one of these steps takes a long time. Or I can go talk to a girl and have a relationship with her secretly, and no one would know. And that's like in seconds. I could do that. I could do it by the end of the week. You see it? So it's not that they're being unreasonable or irrational. They're being psychologically being rational. That's the point I'm saying, is that we need to get beyond this fantasy that just because it's easy, it's good. Often, what you have to do is difficult. And that's why this world is a test. It's a test, man. Are you going to take the easy path, or are you going to take the harder path? That's all the over there.
Right, then we've only got a minute and a half of the show left, so
I've got a question.
Now
Question.
I've got a question.
What's question? Be quick.
Okay, how did all these Christians and all these other religions appear when Adam and Hawa were Muslims, and if they had children, their sons and daughters would have been children, and their family tree would be Muslims, and it would have been carried on. So how did all of these Christians appear?
Yeah, it's basically due to a simple thing. I'll be quick on 1 minute left. Time, ignorance, and desires. So just like we see, we might see imams or righteous people who go to the masjid all the time, and their kids on the streets doing crime. Does that happen?
Yeah.
Why? The reason is that everyone are individuals. People are individuals, and maybe a person might know something is wrong, but his desires still takes him somewhere else. And that's about as brief as you can get. I mean, without making a whole new lesson, but essentially, a person will only deviate to astray because of their desires. They want to follow their desires rather than what they've been told to do.
All right, and Ustadh Muawiyah for joining the show today, and we really appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you.
Oh